Good morning, everyone. So we'll wait for 1 or 2 minutes and then we'll start the session. Okay, in the interest of time, let's start. So I was thinking, from the last 6 days, it's been only theory, right? So I was, thinking today, let's not do any theory. Let's do some hands-on. So what I will be doing today is like for the labs. Uh, in the last module number 3, the most of you guys said like they have not created any AWS or they have not tried any AWS options and functions. Correct. So I thought like today I will start from the scratch. Okay, I will show you guys like how to create an AWS account, and I want to run one small project today. Okay, this will be a very basic the project, and then tomorrow we'll go and advanced where we will deploy one AI and ML model for then energy management system. Okay, that is one thing. And so yes, like in the last session, last module, I was expecting like everyone to start working on AWS just for the knowledge purpose, right? Uh, yeah. Okay, great. So for that reason, like today, let's start with the scratch, and everyone just try to follow me, like or else like try to check the recordings once you are free. Okay. With that, let me share my screen. So I will guide you how exactly we can able to create an AWS account. Okay. Good. So let me close these. Okay. So first what we have to do is we have to search AWS console login. Okay. And the first site you can able to see here, like AWS web services. In that, there will be an option to create an account. If you have the account already, try to sign in to the console. Okay. So let's create one account. Okay. So here it is asking for the details. Okay. What I will be doing is, so I will just put my name here. Hold on. Okay. So this will be my personal email ID. So I'm just filling the my details, and I'm just opening my Gmail. Okay. So I will not be sharing that screen. For that, just give me a minute. Okay. and let me fill that credentials. So if anybody wants to follow along with me, just try to open this and you can able to create an account. Okay, so and okay, please. Okay, I just have to go into my Gmail. Okay. Okay, so let me confirm. Yeah. So what I was doing is, so I had my one of the personal account. Okay, I was just trying to create that one. Okay. So now what you have to do is initially, if you have any Gmail account, right? So I already had the AWS account in my Gmail. So I was I was searching for an older my email ID, so I could able to use that to create the AWS account. Okay, that is one thing. So whenever you give that email address, right, so it will ask to verify it. Once you have done, so what it will be giving you, right, to try the AWS at the node cost for the 6 months. Okay, so for the next 6 months, you will be not charged because they will be giving the $100 as an AWS credit. Okay, that is one thing. Now, next, what you have to do is you have to set some password. Okay, let me set one password. Just a minute. I am just setting in password. Okay. Okay. Now, so once you set an password, correct? So what it will be doing is, so it will ask what exactly, which type of account you need. So there will be two account you need to choose. So first, for the free for the next 6 months, learn and experiment and build the prototypes. Okay, that is what we are going to do. Why? Because like for the paid, it is like development and the production ready workload. Okay, so it is like for an heavy usage. If you want to continue with the projects and if you want to do some advanced project with the AWS services, right? Then you can able to choose the free services. If not, you can able to choose the uh, I mean, like if you want to do some advanced projects, then you can able to choose the paid one, which also includes, uh, you know, 200 the credits, which includes the free tier also. But for the next learning and experiment one, what we will be doing is we can able to choose the free account. Okay. So again, here also you will get you will receive the actually $200 credit. But the thing is, initially probably 100 or $120 is what you will get in your account. After that, once like there will be certain learning you have to do. Once you have done that, you will receive additional credits. Okay, let's choose an the free account for now. Okay, so it will be asking for the name. So what I will be doing is, so I will give my name and organization. For now, I will not give, and it should be an India, right? And I will give my mobile number here. So I have to give India region, right? And again, so these the address. Let me fill this address for me. So I live in. Okay. So what I have done is like I had provided my address and so on that is necessary to create an AWS account, right? So I have given it and coming to the billing address. So it will ask for an billing, okay? And now there will be an two options. So this is necessary to create an AWS account. One, either you have to choose the UPI payment or the credit card payment. So or debit. So if you have already credit card, then you can able to choose for an auto debit. If not, you can able to choose for an UPI. And don't worry, so you will not be charged anything. Okay, so until unless you are running out of $100, once you have completed $100 and you are running for an different services in the AWS, in that conditions only you will be charged. Okay, the maximum. So I have been using this AWS for a longer time. So the maximum. So if you keep on running any of the instances or the services, then obviously there will be a charges. But if you create an the project and once you complete that, immediately if you terminate all the resources, then you will reduce the billing. Okay, so make sure that you have to delete every resources, right? So don't worry, even though if it is asking for an auto payment, there will be no deduction in the account. So you don't have to worry about it. Okay. So even though it is asking for an auto payment limit of the 15,000, right? So it is necessary to set up an account. It is doesn't mean like you have to pay the 15,000 upfront. Not like that. Okay. So now let's proceed further. I have selected the UPI. Even though in the UPI we can able to remove the auto payment later, correct? So what it is asking? It is asking for an auto payment one. Okay. So what I will be doing is I will select the scanner. There was an error. Yeah. So I think now it is completed the payment. Okay. So initially it will ask for an 2 rupees of debit to confirm your account. Okay. Once that is done, what you have to do is now there is a certain field you have to fill it out. So initially it is asking what is the purpose of the account registration, right? So I will be telling the personal use, oral research, or development, product development, and all. For now, so I will be using as an like for the personal use, or else let's use as an academic. Okay, you guys also can able to use the academic as an the purpose, because you will be doing some researches, right, based on this AWS account for that reason, or else you can able to use the personal use also. That is also one. And coming to the ownership type, what you have to select here, like you can able to select the individual ownership type. Okay. And now again, you have to choose the what kind of authentication is needed. Okay, what I will be doing is I will choose the PAN card. Okay, now let me fill this out. Let me fill my PAN card details here. And these are all the necessary one. Without this, you cannot able to create account. Okay, and as I said before, you don't have to worry about the 15,000. Okay, it will not be deducted directly. And $100 is nearly 8,000 or nearly 8,500 rupees, right? So after that only, if you are running any services, then you will be charged. Okay. Let me fill my details. Okay. Yeah. Now it is my PAN card. Okay. I am just filling out my details. So just a minute. Okay. And it is asking me to upload the document. Okay. After that is done, it is asking for a confirmation. Okay. What I have done is I have given the ID and now it is asking for the confirmation. So I have received the this confirmation message. So I will be providing that confirmation message here. Okay. Now just wait for a couple of minutes. Yes. See, I have created this AWS account, right? This is the new one. It is not the older one. Okay. So everyone, at least try to open an account, and so you can able to start working on the labs. Okay. If you don't have any account, then during the assignment submissions or like any report generation, you may not be able to provide the screenshot, or you can. This is also for the learning also, right? It is necessary one. Okay. Now once we have created the this AWS lab account, what we have to do is, the first thing is, let me close this. So here, let me go to the dark mode. Okay. First thing is you have to choose this specific region. For now, it has been selected. It has been selected as in Sydney, correct? Asia specific one. So now what I will be doing is, so you can select any of the region. So there will be different regions. So we have the United States. In the United States, we have different locations: the Virginia, Ohio, and California, and Oregon, right? So even you can able to choose the nearby, that is like the Mumbai, so that like the data transfer and latency, which will be reduced if you are selecting the nearby data centers, right? So what I will be doing is, so I will select the North Virginia, and so whenever you are designing any system for your client, right, and the client might be in somewhere in the Europe, right? So when the client is in the Europe, you cannot be creating this account in the Mumbai region or like any other Asia specific region, right? In that case, you have to be very much sure about which region you have to create this account, because these labs will be created in that specific region whenever you select this, right? And second point here is, it is also the cost. Whenever you choose the Europe and other certain regions, right, the cost of the same the services which will be running on a different location will be higher. Let's take an example. When the same services are running in the Europe region, right? If the labs are running in the Europe region, the cost will be little higher compared to the US one, or else like Asia specific one. So you can able to see the costing in the AWS document. Based on that, you can able to uh, see which area or else which region is more suitable for you guys in terms of economical and data prevention. Okay, that was the second point in terms of cost. And the third point, so there will be certain regulations needed. Okay, the customer might say my data needs to be stay in the specific region only, right? In that case also, you have to be sure uh, that the data, whatever we are generating, correct, it will be residing in the specific region only. For example, in the Europe, it is very much strict compliance telling that the data uh, of a specific company which is registered in the Europe, correct? That data needs to be reside in that region only. That is in the Europe region. In the Europe, we have an another couple of data centers, right? You have to select these data centers only. Okay. Why? Because let's say we are running in the AI model or ML model for our energy management system, correct? And your client is based out of Europe. In that case, you cannot, deploy that AI model in the Mumbai region. Okay, as per the compliance, the data or the data modeling has to be done in the this specific Europe region. Okay, that is one thing. Now, what I will be doing is, so I will be selecting the US, North Virginia, US East one. Okay. Why? Because for me, it will be a little bit cheaper. Okay. That is the specific reason why I am choosing the North Virginia one. And also, let's set this as a default. Okay. So whenever you type this in the search button, you will get the default option. What you have to do is you have to select certain things. I will be selecting in the language as in English US, and I will be setting this as in default. So if you are not setting this as in default, right? Sometimes what will happen is whenever you log out and log in, so the region sometimes it will change. Okay. So to avoid that, what you can able to do is you can able to set a default region in this settings. Okay. Then let's save this. Now, even though if you log in and log out of this account, the region remain the same. Okay, this is one thing. And so in this specific, you see here, the credits, $100 is what I am having, and how many days I am having? 184 days remaining. So whenever you create an account, right? Similarly, you will also get $100, and there will be certain, the training you have to do. Once you have done that, the more credit it will be credited to your account. Okay, so it can go up to $200. So when I say $200, it will be approximately near to 15,000 is what you can able to get it once you have complete the trainings, required trainings, and those trainings you can able to get it in the AWS page. Okay, that is one thing. Now again, so second part here is, so this specific account, right? So I have to log in through the password, but it is not secured, right? We have to do the multi-factor authentication to secure this account. Why? Because if someone get this account details, they can simply run the many services, and they can able to the bill lot of money to your account. Okay, that is the thing. Whenever you have created this, right, we have to set the dual factor authentication for this lab. Okay, once this is done, just go to the IAM. Just a minute, guys. Okay, so you have to type the IAM. Okay, that is the identity management. So identity and the access management portal. Okay, so here is, this is very much important, where you will be having all the controls of the lab and your account. Okay, this is the very important the options. What we have to do is, so here you can able to see, we can able to add the user group, the users, the roles, and the policies. Okay, and before we go into these options, what we will be doing is, let's Go to the dashboard. Okay. See here the recommendation, the security recommendation. One, it is flagging out. It is telling add multi-factor authentication for the root users. Okay. And the email address which I have given, it is a root. So you should only use that for the admin uh, related works only, not for the regular usage. So I will be explaining to do some the labs, you what you have to do it. So before we going to that, let's add an multi-factor authentication, and this is very much important. Even you have to do the this multi-factor authentication when you have created this account. Okay, let's give some device name. So I already had one account, right? So here we have the three option. You just have to select the authenticator app. So to do this, there is two option. One, you can able to download the uh, Microsoft Authenticator. So there is a small application you have to download in your mobile, or else Google Authenticator. Okay, either the any one of the the multi-factor application will work on this. Okay, for now what I will be doing is, so I will select this, and okay, it will be showing this, right? So it is telling the Google Authenticator, the Duo is Cisco's one, right? This is a paid one, and you don't have to worry about this. Like you can able to download either this specific one, and you just have to scan this. Okay. Once you have scanned this, you need to enter the account, the OTPs which you will be getting in the application. Okay. Now I have received the one. We need to provide two. Okay, I'm just waiting for the other one. Okay. So two times we have to enter it. See, now our account is secured. Even though if someone has this account details, they will not be able to log into the system because they need the dual factor authentication. Okay. Just a minute, guys. I will be back. Okay. So now we have added the on security layer, right? On top of this account, that is the multi-factor authentication. Okay. So nobody can able to log into my system, even though they have my credentials. Okay. They need this second layer of authentication, that is multi-factor authentication enabled. Now, so I was mentioning earlier, so this will be an root account, the email address what we had given, right? So that is only needed or to be used for the admin activities only. So to create something, like we have to go to the users. Okay. let's add the user. Okay, let's say, and let's give one name. Okay, I will be giving an our developer. So you can give any of the name. Okay, not an issue. Developer. Okay. This is just for an my account, and you have to click on this account. Okay. Why? Because this specific user, this account we will be using for the labs. So we will not be using any root account as a to develop our the models or to use other services. Okay, that is one thing. So what I will be doing is, let me create one custom password. Okay, so I have provided the custom password. Okay, there will be the two option. So you can able to ask the users if you are creating for another person, or else if you are creating for yourself as a different user, right? Either you can able to tick mark this like you have to generate a new password whenever we sign in the next time into the AWS account. Okay, for now, let's show, because I have already chosen the custom password, and then I will set the permissions. So here, this is very much critical. Okay, so the root account I was mentioning earlier, right? So we should not be using that. So what we have to do is we have to use the different account. Right now, I am using this specific user account, right? So what exactly the permission this user account needs to have? So whether he has to have all the permissions to use all the services within the AWS account to do the labs. So in that case, you have to provide complete access. Okay, or else, so if you wants to attach any specific policy, okay, then you can able to directly attach this. And what exactly the group is? If you already created the group, let's say I currently I am an individual user, correct? What if you wants to create in multiple users with a different the set of permissions? In that case, you can able to create a group, add the permission to that group, so that if we are creating any of the users here, we can directly put those user in the group, and the group, what it will be doing is the permissions which is attached to that group, the users will inherit that the policies. Okay, the required permissions from the group settings. Okay, the policy settings. Now what I will be doing is, either we can able to copy this from the different the group, or else attach the policies. For now, what I will be doing is I will directly attach the policies. Okay, what exactly the policies are? So policies are the set of rules, what actions a specific user can able to take on the AWS. Okay, that is what it will be defining. Now, if you scroll down, there there is like the predefined the permission set which is provided by the AWS one. So you can see there is more than 1,400 the permissions, right? So again, so for example, whatever the user we had selected or else created, correct? So he wants to use only specific services. For example, I wants to create only IoT, the service access to this specific user, right? You can able to select the IoT. Okay, in the IoT, we can able to select any specific the policy. If you click on this plus icon, you can able to see this the JSON format. Okay, and this is the JSON format which will be having certain actions, right? What exactly here? If we select this IoT, it is telling what kind of effect. So effect is allow, action is IoT analytics on the all the services. The star means all the services, and the resource is star. Star means all the resources, all the actions on the all the resources on the IoT. Okay, that is allowed, right? So other one thing, and that is for the IoT. And if you wants to run any ML model, correct? You can able to quickly select the ML, or else to be precise, SageMaker. Okay, this is the platform where we will be deploying our ML model. Okay, so if you want to restrict any of the user, like our user, for only this the the machine learning model, the services, then you can able to select any of the specific. Okay, that is one thing. And if you want to run any AI model, artificial intelligence model, then there is an other service called Bedrock. So Bedrock is designed to run the AI model, that is RAG models. Okay, that is what the latest technology or the services, right? What we'll be seeing in the world, right? So to do that, we can able to select any one of the policies. Okay, for now, as I will be using this as an administrator, right? Again, so let me select the complete administrator access. Okay, so I'll be selecting the administrator access. So for now, let it be like an administrative access. Okay, and then in the administrative access, so affect all actions and the resources. That should be fine. I will be selecting the next. So now let's review and create. So my username is the developer for the account number 2. You can able to give your own customized name. This is just for my identification, what I have done. And the permission set, I have given the complete administrative access. Okay. This is similar to the root, but in the root account, it will be, we can able to do the more actions. Okay. As in root level. Now let me create this account. Okay. See, now we have created the account. Okay, now we will be using this account to do the labs. Okay, so if you click on the user, see, now my account is visible, and so password setting enabled, everything. Okay, now let's go here again, the permission sets and everything. Now, how to log into that account? See here, this is the console address. We just have to copy this console address. Let me go to the incognito mode now, and let me paste that. Once you did that, so you will be, so you have to be, you should make sure that you have saved this account details. Okay, this is very, very important. Without this, you may not be able to log into the AWS account on this specific user. Okay, so what I will be doing is I will be just copying this, and I will be saving in a safe place, so that this will be a reference for the next time when I'm trying to log in. Okay. So I have saved securely, and coming to this, IAM. So what exactly is this? We just have to This is the name of the account, right? So what I will be doing is, again, I will just copy that. This is the, and I will be providing that password which I had set earlier. Now again, so this is again the new brand new the account. Okay. Now let me explain you again. So why we have created this account. Okay. So initially, okay. So now let me select my pen. Okay. So initially we created a root account, right? Okay. This is an admin account. We should not use this for the regular labs. We should not use it. Okay. So for that reason, what I have done is I have created an account. This is an user account, sub account. Okay. Account number A. And this is the user number one, which I have created. Now you can able to create the multiple user account. Let's say I had created one. You will be creating an account, sub account as in B, and this you will be naming as user number 2 and give some name. And similarly, you can able to do create other sub account 3 or else account number C. Okay, and you will put it as an user number 3. And why we require this? Let's say you will be working on different projects, right? IoT projects, and this will be like solar, radiation, prediction, okay? And other one, you will be running fault detection of. And so on. So these are all the projects you might be working on, okay? Instead of you working on a single account, it will be very much confusing sometime. So for that reason, what it is recommended is you create in sub accounts, sub users, okay? And we'll have the different account. You can able to run different projects in that, okay? Once this, the IoT project is done, you can directly delete this easily. And also you can able to track how much resource this specific account has been utilized and what is the billing. So that is the specific reason we will be creating then different users. Okay, and similar way, if we wants to delete complete account, then directly you can able to delete this. There is no additional charges for this, and also there is no additional charges for the creation of these sub accounts. Okay, and the root account, it has to be very much secure. Okay, make sure that you keep this root account very safe and secure. That is one thing. That is the reason we had created this account. Okay, sub account. Okay, let's move further. Again, we just need to secure this account also, right? The same way what we have done it for the root account. Again, let's log into the IAM user. Okay, let's, before that, what we have to do is we have to set the region. Let's set the region. I will be selecting the same region. Okay, so I will select the region North Virginia as a default region. Okay, so I will be doing all the labs in the North Virginia. Okay, and I will just change that to the dark mode. Right, and the billing, everything breakups, you have to check it in the root account, not in this. Okay, and let me go to the IAM. Let's see here what IAM is telling. The root user has the multi-factor authentication, because when we created the newer account, right, we added the multi-factor, but this specific account, so the sub account don't have any multi-factor authentication. So what I will be doing is, so I will add the multi-factor authentication because it is necessary one. So as I mentioned earlier, I have already have the account, right? So I will just go here. Account 2. Okay. So what I will be doing is, so I will scan this through the account. Now I just have to wait for this credentials to come to me, the dual factor authentication. I mean, okay. Please, and we just have to wait for 30 seconds for the next code. Okay, I think I got it. Yes. So my account is secure now, even this sub account. Okay. We just have to make sure that we keep this link intact. Okay. If you lose this, then again, it will be an, searching for this link and logging that. So it is little bit headache. So make sure that you just copy and save this details and make that as an habit, and keep that as an handy. Okay. And coming to the API keys, don't generate any API keys. Okay, API keys is required for an advanced task. For now, do not generate any API keys. Just be with the IAM credentials. Okay. Now everything is set, right? Now what we'll be doing is, so let me go back. Let me close this. So again, we can able to set the rules, set the policies, and so on. So for now, we'll not do this. We'll directly jump into the lab part. Okay. And before we jump into the lab, let's take 5 minutes bio break. Okay. And let's come back after 5 minutes, and let's begin the lab. Okay, let's continue. So now we have set up the account. Let's start, the designing and small lab. Okay. Now to do that, what we will be using is, so there is one of the small software which is called Draw IO. Okay. Usually we use this to design an architecture. Before the lab, we don't do in the AWS console, correct? The lab needs to be designed before we do the the console configurations. Okay, so you can also download this software. It is a free of cost software. Okay, so what we'll be doing now is, so let's open this and let me save this and then download. Okay, now what you can able to do is go to the more shapes. In that, you can able to select the AWS one. Okay, when you select the AWS, so you will have the latest AWS icons here. Okay, now, so this is a small lab where, let me, okay, so yeah, what we will be doing right now is, so usually let's design an IoT small system. Okay, that system, we will be sending that data to the AWS cloud. So this is an AWS cloud, okay, for the analytic purpose. In the last module, what we have done is, so we used Kinesis for the streaming purpose. So there you learned what exactly the Kinesis and how we could able to do the analytics on the real-time data, right? So that was little advanced. So again, we will do the same thing. So I wanted to give everybody an the better understanding about the cloud infrastructure, right? So I thought I will just do one small lab before we go into the advanced the project. So for that reason, so this will be a very much a smaller one, just to give you an understanding about the AWS, right? So we will be configuring the IoT system, the smaller system, and the data will be sending to the AWS. In the AWS, we will be running one server, EC2 server. Okay, and this we will create an VPC. This is then virtual private the cloud, because we need to have our own AWS infrastructure, right? Kind of. So for that, this is the where we need to create an VPC, that is virtual private cloud. Okay. So now, so EC2 is an server where we will be running some IoT softwares. Okay. And then we will have some database. So these IoT, the information, whatever we have received, right, that has to be stored somewhere, correct? So for that reason, what we have to do is, we have to select one database. Here in the AWS, we have the RDS, or else we can able to save that in the DynamoDB, right? And the raw data. So these are all the process data. And if we wants to save the raw data, so these the data which I have received from the IoT systems, right? So in the last session, I was talking about the different types of data. What different types of data we have? The JSON data, CSV files, tab separated, the kind. So these are all like kind of the raw data which we usually get it from the IoT devices, right? Specifically in the last class when I was teaching about the ML model, I was specifically stressing on this the points, right? The data, okay? And these raw data will be stored in the S3 bucket, okay? This is the storages. The large amount of data, raw data, will be stored here, okay? Here in our lab, it will be an IoT raw data. Okay. Then after that, yesterday again, I was clearly mentioning about the data processing, right? So these data, raw data will be processed and it will be saved in the two format, ORC, or it will be an packet format. So these are all the processed data format, which will be in the columnar. And these formats could be saved either in the S3 or else we can able to directly save in the RDS, okay, relational databases. And if you want to directly save this JSON data, IoT data, then this IoT data has to be directly stored in the DynamoDB. The DynamoDB is a NoSQL database, okay. This is key pair value, because the IoT, as I was mentioning in the last class as well as previous class, right? So these, the IoT device usually, they will be, just a minute. Okay, so where I was, yeah. So in the last as well as previous class, I was mentioning, right? So the IoT device system always generate in the JSON format, right? So JSON format will be having the key pair. So these key pair value cannot be directly stored in the RDS because RDS is an SQL server. It cannot directly save the IoT information directly here. For that reason, what we will be doing is, so we will be saving that data in the raw data in the S3 okay, storage. Then we will be processing and then we will be storing in the RDS, so that from the RDS, we can able to use that for the ML model. Okay. So this machine learning model will be deployed on the SageMaker. So now, so all the information what we will be getting from the IoT device, right? So it will be stored in the S3. Then that will be processed to the RDS. From the RDS, we will be using that in the SageMaker for the machine learning model. So this is the the brief about the lab. Okay, so let's start working on this lab. Okay, let me clear this out. And after this, let's make little complicated one as in the module number 3, right? So we were streaming live data of the IoT devices, and then we were doing the analytics. So that also we will be doing it. For now, just to understand everyone, this is what we will be doing. Okay, and I want everyone to try this AWS one. Okay, this in the last module, nobody, only few people were tried. I could able to see that, but not everyone. But this module, everyone has to try the AWS one. I want to see the screenshot, whatever you have tried. You don't have to build the complete project, but I am expecting the, at least the effort in the AWS, because in your syllabus, it is explicitly mentioned about the AWS integration, IoT, AWS, I mean cloud integration specifically. If you're not comfortable with AWS, choose Azure or GCP, whichever it is. But you have to do the cloud integration here, and then you have to integrate the ML model. For that reason, I am stressing out again. Everyone has to try the AWS, and you have to give the screenshots. Okay, the last time I did not, the go thoroughly like whether you have done it or not, because I know within 5 or 10 days nobody can able to learn the AWS. For that reason, in today's class, I had, even though I had the account, I created the new account to show you how you can able to create an account and you can able to do the labs. Okay, make sure that in the next class you have to open the account. In the assignments you have to provide the screenshot. Okay, I think I'm clear on that part, right? And also while giving the presentation in the assignment parts, right, include the screenshot. In the last module, couple of people has done the great work. They have taken the screenshot and provided, right, in the similar way. Because in if you see the assignment, there is the specific part where you will be having the marks for this AWS, the cloud integration. So for that reason, I'm telling, if you are not including this screenshot or like AWS part, right? So you may lose you lose the marks. This in specifically in this module. Okay. So having said that, let's start designing the lab now. So this is what it is. Now, whenever we want to create a resource, right, we need to have the VPC, what I was telling, right? Either you can able to go here in the search, or else you can directly go to these options, AWS options, right? So you can directly search here. You can able to do the drop down and you will have the options ready. Okay. If you want to select the compute, you can directly click on the compute and do the necessary selection. Okay. So let's see. Let's go here. I will be selecting the region. So as I was mentioning earlier, right, the region is the US East one. That is what I want to deploy it, or else you can deploy it in the region which you wanted. Now, so let's create an VPC, right? So this is virtual private cloud. This is needed because I don't, because I am running the resource in the virtual private cloud, right? I don't want to mix up this with the other resources. This is by default, we need this. Okay. Now I have selected the VPC. Now I want to select the subnet. Okay. So let's say this is a private subnet and this is the public subnet. So I am hoping everyone knows what exactly the private subnet and the public subnet is, right? The IP address. This is very much necessary. Okay. If you are not familiar, then try to learn about this one. Okay. Now, so we had selected the region. Okay. We had selected the VPC and now we will select the AZ availability zone. Okay. So this the availability zone where we are defining. So there will be if you check in the drop down, right, in the region, so that you will be having different the location within the same region. So that is the availability zone. This is required when we have an design which includes to have high availability. Even the the zone fails, the other zone should be up and running. For that redundancy part, we need to have the availability zone. So for now, I have selected only one availability zone. That should be okay for now. And okay, now let's put some IoT device. Okay. Okay, let's put this IoT and okay. Mm, so okay, SageMaker. So let it be. I have selected IoT device on premises, or else let's other select one thermostat. Okay, just for okay, let it be. This all should be fine. Okay, just to indicate we are selecting some IoT devices, and let's group them. Now we have these IoT devices, and now let's name them. This is from smart building. Okay, and let's why I want to cloud, because it has to come through the internet, right? For that reason, I am selecting the cloud. Okay. Okay. I believe till now everything is clear, right? Now, why public, subnet and private subnet? So the databases, right? So let me select the EC2 instance first. And let me select this. This is a server. Okay. Then uh, this is a database. Okay. Now, so the database needs to be private always. Okay. Why? Because nobody has to have the access to the database directly. Only the application, which is the IoT application, what we'll be running on this, needs to be able to have the access to this specific, the private subnet. Okay. That is the reason we are putting this. Okay. Now, just to indicate that we are using the AWS cloud, right? So I have included that now. So I have included the AWS cloud and the region, and right now it should be fine. Okay. Now we'll start adding the components now. So I have added the server where we will be running the IoT software within this, right? So now in the last module, if you guys remember, we used the IoT, correct, as in gateway. But here we cannot use that IoT because we are trying to process the data in the EC2 instance within the VPC, right? In that case, what we have to do is we need to have the internet gateway. Okay. So let's select the internet gateway where it is. Yeah. So that has to go to the VPC one. And also we need to have the routing table. I will explain what exactly is the route table is, right? This is one thing. And also we need route 53, right? Okay. And this should be okay. Let me select this. Okay, let me remove this. Okay, let me select the internet gateway. Yeah, here it is. Okay, and now the data will come to the internet gateway. Okay, so why? Because we need to have the internet gateway. So the server, whatever we have selected, correct? So that needs to be communicated, and also the IoT device that needs to be communicated to the server, right? For that reason. So this is the private subnet, and also let's put some, right? So these are very much needed. Okay. So what exactly this security group? So security group is kind of firewall, okay, which is needed to safeguard these resources. Okay. And these security groups are like virtual firewall. Okay, this will be having inbound rules and outbound rules. When I say inbound rules and outbound rules, it is like what exactly the traffic that needs to be allowed inside the server. Like for example, if we know this like IP address of this IP IoT, right? So we can able to whitelist, and we can able to use that for the allow list. Okay, in the the firewall. Then this for let me select this. Okay, then this can able to tell the security group can able to have the inbound and outbound rules, so that these the data from coming from this server that is allowed to the RDB, and the data which is going to from the RDB to the server, it is only allowed and no other connection is allowed. So that is the specific firewalling rules what we need to enable. For that reason, what we are doing is we are creating the security groups. Okay, this think like it is in the virtual firewall. Now it is fine. Okay, then what else we need? We need this the S3 bucket for the raw data. Correct. Let's select the S3 bucket, and that needs to go here. Okay, and then what we need is we need DynamoDB. This is the DynamoDB for the key pair, which I explained earlier, right? Okay, and what we need is endpoint. Okay, so let's select this. These are all this endpoint specifically is needed, because if I want to make sure that the data is within the AWS. Okay, for that reason we need this endpoints. Okay, right. Okay, and let's connect this to the server one. Okay. Now, what we need is again the SageMaker, right? This is to deploy the our ML model. Okay. Now let's copy the same thing. So even this model needs to have the access. Right. And yeah, till now, any doubts?
No, sir. Continue, sir.
Okay. Okay. So let's give some naming. Okay. And also what we need is we need IAM. So this is the IAM role because we need to do some policies, right? And also this bucket needs to be encrypted. So I will just put some encryption here so that I'm telling that has to be encrypted one, right? And let's search for the policy. Yeah, here it is. Okay, let's give some name here. Internet gateway. Okay, this is route table. And this is policies. And this is the IAM rules. Okay, and the VPC, you need to know the subnetting. Okay, let's take /16. Okay, let's put little down. Yeah. Okay, I think, okay, here, this is the subnet one. And let's put something here also. Wait, it is not getting selected. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me pull this out. Yeah, now I can able to. So the public subnet, let it be dot 0.1.0 slash, let's take 24. Okay. This is the public subnet what I want, and the private subnet. This is an the address which will be given to the services which will be running inside this. Okay, let me copy this. Let me copy back this availability zone. Okay. Okay. Now, so everyone, you really wants to know, then you need to learn the IP addressing and the subnetting. Okay. So So the main VPC will be having the /16, and the public and the private subnet will be having the /24. Okay. So this is this specific resource which will be having this the subnet will not be able to talk to the other subnet. It has to be through the routing only. For that reason only, we have given the route table. Okay. Now, before we proceed, let's name everything here. Why it is. Okay. Uh, yeah. And this is the security group. And let's give, this is EC2 instance, elastic compute. And this is RDS, the database, correct? Where it is. Mm-hmm. Mm, my, yeah, sometimes it is much more trickier. Okay, yeah, I think I was doing something wrong there. Fine. So we have the security group and we have the RDS for the security group also, right? And now it is okay. I think I have named everyone. Yeah, here let's name S3 bucket, and this is DynamoDB, and this is SageMaker for our ML deployment. Okay. So what else we missed? Mm, okay, VPC we have subnets, the private, the internet gateway, and the policy S3 bucket, and the DynamoDB. Okay, and we have, yeah. Let's add some user. Okay. Now usually let's
So why is muted?
yeah. So just a minute. Let me close this. Okay, so basically what I was doing is, so initially how in the corporate world works, right? So even though we are creating this in the console, right? So we never do this manually. It is always an infrastructure as a code. You have to develop the code and you have to push it. To do that, what we have to do is like we have to use, just a minute, guys. Yeah. So we never use the console to do the configurations or deploy any of these services. Okay, it has to be through the automated way. How do we do that? So we use any of the automation tool like Azure DevOps, and then so the code will be directly installed, directly pushed to the repository, and from the CI/CD pipeline. This is automated pipeline, right? So that will be pushing to the AWS. Okay, so you don't worry about this part, but you should know this is actually the way in the real world it will be doing. Okay, we never use the console. Everything will be in the code, and the code will be creating all this infrastructure for us. Okay, this is one thing, and even the infrastructure as a code, everything will be stored in the repository, right? So coming back to this, so where, okay, this is, I think that should be fine. Okay, now one second. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I think I have everything. So now I will explain how things works. Okay. Now these IoT devices, what it will be doing is, so it will send this JSON data through the internet, and so this JSON data will go into the server. Okay. The server will store the data in the S3 as in raw bucket, and this S3 bucket again it will be we are pulling the data again to the server, and the server will process the data, and either it will store in the RDS or else in the DynamoDB. Okay, and then so these data, let's do one thing. Let's put this here for the better understanding. Okay, so this SageMaker, either it can be pulling the data from these two sources. Okay, right? Okay. And then ML model will be deployed here. And then again, we can add, some visualization tool here, okay, to have the output. Okay. So yes, this is what we will be doing it. Okay. I believe this is clear. Let's go to the console. Now try to create the same thing in the console. Okay. This is the console. First, what we have to do now, we just have to create the VPC, right? So please concentrate here. Make sure that you are in the right region. Okay. If you have set an default region as in Virginia, right? So it will come. It will by default it will be showing the region. Now, if you see here, I have one VPC. Okay. It was then by default VPC. Okay. I don't want this. Let me delete this. Okay. This was then by default, there will be an VPC. We will just remove this. Okay. Now let's go back to the dashboard. See, this is the dashboard where you can able to see what any virtual private cloud is present or not. Okay. You can see I don't have anything. And what I can able to do is, let's go here. Let's create one VPC. Okay. There is two options we get. One is VPC only or else VPC and more. So when you create only VPC, right? So what will happen is, so only this part means only this VPC will be created, and the route table and this internet gateway will not be created. So if you want, you can able to create separately and add these two into the VPC. Okay. So what we'll be doing is we will create at a time. Okay. We don't want to wait or else we don't want to create separately and then attach to this. No. So what we'll be doing is, so we will create VPC and as well as the subnets, right? So you can able to see in the preview, right? So I had created one VPC virtual private, and we wanted few subnets. Now let's configure it. Here I will give demo as the tag. Okay, this is auto generated, and this tag will be used for the all the resources here. If you see here, I have typed a demo, and the naming has changed to the demo, right? Starting name. Now I have selected /16 the mask, same thing, let it be. And so I don't want any IP version 6. If you really wants to use the IP version 6, then you can able to do it. And tenancy, let's keep it like that. And this is very much advanced encryption. We will not worry about this, okay? Because it required some costing. And coming to the availability zone, right? So I was mentioning here availability zone. So here I have considered only one availability zone. So now, so what we will do is we will select only one availability zone, not the two. Okay, in that case, I will just select one. Okay, you see here, it has been changed, correct? So it is giving only one availability zone. Now, number of public subnet required is only one, and the private subnet is only one, right? So here, if you see here, I only have the one and one public and one for the private one, right? Now I don't want any NAT gateway. So NAT gateway is required when your the EC2 instance is in the private subnet, okay, where you don't want to expose that to the internet directly. So in that case, we need to have the NAT gateway, and the NAT gateway, yes, it is the costly one. It requires some amount. So what we have done is we have deployed the EC2 instance in the public subnet so that we can able to easily reach the server through the direct connection. Okay, and again we can have the S3 gateway. So I was showing you, right? So this is the gateway, correct? So the gateway is used for the secure connection between the AWS services to the S3 bucket. Okay. So for now, we will not use that, even though I have shown in the diagram, we will not use that for now. Okay. Now we just have to enable the two things. One, we have to enable the DNS hostname and the DNS resolution. What is DNS? DNS is the domain name server. Okay. So the human can understand the domain names, right? But system cannot understand the names, alphabets. So it has to be in the digital, binary, 1 or 2, right? So how the system will do the conversion from the IP address to the human readable format, and the human readable format to the IP address. So DNS server, it is where the magic happens, right? So we need to enable this. Without this, it will be very much difficult. If you enable these options, then easily we can able to configure. For this, the lab, let's enable this, and you can able to see the connection, how it looks. Okay, so the VPC has the two subnets, and also we have the two route tables. Okay, route tables is where there will be an IP address, and the IP addresses help us to navigate between the resources. Okay, and only the public internet, subnet will be having the internet gateway, not the private. You see the difference? That means only the public uh, subnet resource within that can able to go to the internet, not the private one. So in the private one, we have installed the RDS, correct? RDS will not have the internet connection. Okay. And also the second part, if you see here, I was mentioning about the code, correct? In that, so in the actual scenario, in the companies, we don't usually configure like this in the console. We always use the code. So there is one good part, the feature added in the AWS where you can able to directly generate the code. Okay. So there is an the preview code preview right here. The beauty about this is we can able to generate in the different format. So if you are familiar with the CLI, right, you can able to directly go to the console here, open it, or else in your local system, open the terminal in the laptop, and you can able to configure the required infrastructure. Okay, this is the Cloud Shell. Similar way, we can able to do it in the laptop. So if you are familiar with the CLI, command line interface, you just have to copy this code. This code has been generated based on the my configuration, which I was doing in the console. Right here, I have selected the VPC. If you have selected in different options, then you will get different the code here. And the format what I have selected is CLI. In the same way, if you are, you want to create in an SDK, software development kit, as a software, right? And you are familiar with the Python coding, you just have to select the Python and you will get the code. And the most importantly, you need to know the Boto 3 is the SDK standard whenever you want to create something in the AWS as in software defined kit, right? You have to use the Boto 3. Okay, this is just copy. You just have to copy this and install and push it to the infrastructure. That is why I was showing this part. Okay. So the code will be saved in the repository, and then we'll use either any of the automation tool like Azure DevOps to push that into the infrastructure. Okay. Now it is clear, right? So let's create then VPC one. So it should take little time, by 30 seconds, and we are good to go. Yeah, I think it is fast. It has already created. What exactly it has been created? It created the VPC, the DNS name, the subnets, and attached the internet gateway to the VPC and created the route table and so and so. Now we will not require anything. So let's see the VPC how exactly it looks. Okay. See again, we have one VPC, the two subnets. If you hover over this, you can see how the connection is. So the public is have the public route table, and that route table have the connection to the internet gateway. And similarly, we have the private subnet that is having the connection to the this route table. Okay, this is a default route table. There is no connection. So if you want, you can able to add the more route tables, right? So now coming back to this subnets, you see here we have a different subnets, right? Okay, and you can able to see which VPC these subnets have been attached and what is the CIDR range, right? Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's take a little break. We'll have a breakfast, the break, and we'll come back at 9:15. Okay, then I will explain how exactly these subnets are like and how we are installing the software and running those. Okay, let's come back at 9:15. Thank you. Okay, so let's proceed further. So now, so here you can see, right? So we have the VPCs and we have the subnets. Okay. Okay. So now what we will do is, so we will create one S3 bucket now. So we already created the VPC, right? We already created this VPC. Now we will create the S3 bucket as well as DynamoDB. Okay. Okay. So we just have to select the general purpose, not the directory one. And in the general purpose, so we need to give one the global name. So always the S3 bucket needs to have the global name, and or else we can able to select the account regional namespace. Okay. So let's say I will be selecting the demo and S3. Okay. So and the naming should be in the smaller caps, not in the uppercase letters. Okay. And that will be tagged with our the account number and the region. So this will be an unique one. Okay. Or else, and second option, what we can able to do is if we have the already have the S3 bucket, right, existing, you can able to select that settings from that the bucket and we can able to do it. Now, coming to the object ownership, right? So this is very much important, the concept here. So the if we wants the object opens ownership to us, then we have to choose the ACLs. If not, then choose the ACL enabled, or we can able to choose the ACL disabled one. Okay, so preferably because we need to have the ownership to us, right? So we have to do the ACL disabled. Okay, now and again, one important thing is we need to block the public access. Okay, if you keep this open, then anybody having the access to this S3 bucket through the public internet, right, they can able to come and they can able to dump some data, or else they can able to steal the data. So we have to ensure that this we need to disable it, like public access needs to be disabled it if you want to enable it, but be careful, we have to do the public access, the strict rules where you can able to expose only certain the prefixes for the public bucketing. Okay. And coming to the versioning, one second. Okay, sorry for the interruption. My kid was crying. Okay, yeah. So Yes, so we need to enable the bucket version. Okay. If we wants to, the same, the save the, version of the objects, then we have to enable this. If not, we have to disable it. Okay. Now, coming to the encryption, this is very much important. Okay. So whatever the objects we are, installing in this specific object, right, it has to be encrypted. If not, so by default, the AWS will encrypt this by using the AES S3, that is, AES 256 type of encryption. Okay, when we are selecting S3 bucket options, that is server side. Okay, and other way of doing is like if we have our own encryption key, then we can able to use that to encrypt the server bucket objects. Okay, and so for now, I don't want to create, do any encryption. For that reason, I have selected disabled, and let me create the bucket now. Okay. So what we have done is now we created this, the VPC, and by the VPC, we have created the internet gateway, the route table, and the S3 bucket. Now what we'll do is we'll create the DynamoDB, okay, for the key pair one. So see, the bucket is already ready. If you go here, yeah, my storage is ready. So if you see here, we we can able to directly upload the required details here or the objects directly here, or else you can use the software SDK to load the data into this bucket. Okay. And if you want to see the properties on metadata, right, you can able to go into the metadata and able to see what exactly is this. And coming to the properties, you can able to see when it was created, what is the Amazon resource name, and so on. Okay. And coming to the permissions, and you can able to see here we have blocked the public access. Make sure that if you're trying to create any of the the bucket in your account, right, you have to make sure that you are blocking the public access here. And also there is like in bucket policy, correct? So this is bucket policy where we can able to create a policy such a way that you can able to restrict the access to the specific object, not the complete bucket. So the granular level of creating and policies is what this bucket policy will be doing. Okay. And coming to the other settings, yeah, everything is what I said earlier. And yeah, this is one of the important concept again. So let's say you wants to, here currently we have one bucket, correct? What if you want to replicate this to the other region? Okay, as for example, these smart meters and the smart, the building data, it would be very much critical for the, the usage and also for the further analytics, right? So how we can able to ensure that we are replicating this? So directly we can able to copy this. Directly we can copy this by using this cross region replication. Okay. Okay. This is one thing. Now we have created the S3 bucket. Let's create the DynamoDB. Okay. So now we have to go to the DynamoDB here and then create the table. And here, so let's give a name, demo. Okay. Demo DynamoDB. Okay. And the partitions key. And this we have to give during the test partition and sort key. Okay, this is to make sure that the the DynamoDB is a key pair, right? And we have to store the data in actually in the the in the partitions key. Okay, so that whenever we try to retrieve the data, so that we will we can use this partition key and the sort key to fetch the data. Okay, now there is two kinds. One is, yeah, so here somewhere, okay, yeah, custom settings. So here there is two kinds. One is DynamoDB standard, another one is the single infrequent access DB. Okay, and the second part here is, here we have the read and write capacity one, right? So one is the on demand. On demand is we don't have to calculate anything, the sizing of the database, correct? The on demand will take care about the sizing and everything. And coming to the provisioning, like the on demand is little costlier, and the provisioning is like comparatively the cheaper. So whenever we select the provision one, right? So we have to calculate, okay, what is the minimum capacity, the maximum, and what should be the read write capacity units, and so on. We have to manually calculate, and then we have to provision. Only we have to select the provision when we know the IoT device sending this much of data at very consistently, right? When we know that, then only we can able to select the provision. If we don't know the IoT device which is sending the data irregularly, and we don't know when there will be a spike in the data transfer, correct? In that case, what we have to do is we have to select the on demand. Okay, on demand will take care about the scaling of the database. We don't have to worry about it. Okay, so now let me select the provisioned. Okay, so one and one is what I have selected. Okay, there is one calculation meter, calculator also there for the read and write capacity unit calculation. You can try that out. So now everything looks fine. So if you want to add something, then you can able to add it. Okay, let's create the table. Okay, now what we have done is we have created this S3 bucket and the DynamoDB, right? Now what we will do is we will create the server, S3 server one. Now it should that take little time. Okay, okay, now this is very much critical, because the software, the IoT or the building management, the software, it will be running on this server. Now, how to create the server? So here you can able to see the instance, right? So instance is the computer is what we want. Here you select the launch instances, and let's say this server is for the IoT and building management. Okay, and here there will be a lot of options available. So this is the OS type. Okay, either we can able to use the Linux, or else the the Windows. If you want to have the Mac OS, then you can able to select the Mac OS. And if you want to if you are willing to select a different kind of OS, right, there will be certain charges. So the Linux, the Amazon Linux is little the freer version. Okay, and you can able to see the free tier one, right? You have to select this. If you are selecting different type of images, images, there might be an high chances there will be the cost involved with that. Okay, always try to select the free tier eligible OS only. Now here again the instance type. So instance type is like, it's an like how big how what is the bigger size of instance you want. If you want a very much higher, larger the CPU and larger memory, then you have to choose different size of the the instance, the server, right? But for your the lab practices, you have to select the this. Okay. So I have selected the free tier eligible one, right? And the key pair. So this is needed if you want to, log into the system and do some, configurations. Okay. And now this is very much important. Let's select here where exactly we need to, install this. This has to be going the VPC, correct? This specific VPC. So we need to select the VPC. There will be, see, I have, if you have multiple VPCs, then you will receive the different the VPCs here, and then you can able to select the specific the VPC here, and then you have to select the subnets. You can able to either install this in the private or the public, but as per our design, we have to install it in the public, right? Public subnet. So what we have to do is we just have to need to select the public. Okay, right? Now again the security group, right? And we just have to create the new security group. The security group is the firewall, what I was talking about earlier, right? This will act as the virtual firewall around the resource, especially now in the EC2 instance. Now let's create one, the okay. Now let's create a new one. Where exactly security group needs to be go? That is in the VPC. Okay. Go to the advanced. Now here, try not to change anything. Okay. And this is the whenever we select a server, correct? In that server, we need to have some storages. So we need to select this specific 8 GB, or like you can able to increase the multiple of this. Okay. Once this is done, you can click on the launch instances. Okay. Now this is about the so what we have done is we have launched the EC2 instance, S3 bucket, and the DynamoDB. Okay. And also we have created the VPC and the internet gateway and the route table and everything. Okay. So this is basics, and so till now, if anybody has any questions, then let me know. So probably tomorrow we'll continue with RDS, because RDS takes little more time to configure and execute, right? So for that reason, tomorrow freshly again we will start with the RDS. We'll configure and we will try to connect all these components. Now we have just created these components, right? We have not connected it, right? Tomorrow class we will try to connect these services and try to install some software in the EC2 instance, so that it will start getting the IoT images, and we will process it. Okay, this will be the tomorrow's class agenda. And also there are like couple of ML models which I wanted to cover. If tomorrow time permits, like I will complete that ML model also tomorrow. Okay, so for today's session, that's it from my end. So if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer. If not, we can conclude the today's class. Okay.